You're listening to The Aviation Show,
brought to you by DeBella Training.
For more information, contact us on www.debella.co.za now.
And good afternoon. Welcome back to The Aviation Show. My name is Des Werner, and in the studio today is the lovely Belinda Werner, and we are privileged to be joined by Megan Werner. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy to be here again.
And as always, we're coming to you live from 27 Boxes in Melville. And today we're going to chat to you about discovering your passion. It's a fascinating subject. Now, I feel that in aviation, unless you are passionate about it, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of dedication that happens. I can remember when I did those damn exams, years. Like I used to wake up in the morning at, 5 o'clock and then study until about that night, 6, 7 o'clock. Lots and lots of dedication.
Lots
and if
of
you're
hours that you had to put in.
If you're not passionate about that, I don't think it's going to happen.
And then also the strain on the family.
There's strain on the family?
Of course there's strain on the family with you putting in so much effort.
In aviation, there's strain on families?
Every day.
Yeah, look, it takes a special family to understand, what goes on in aviation. There's lots of challenges. So if you're listening to the show, we don't want to put you off. We're just trying to say to you that you must be very passionate about it. And sure, that's what you want to do before you get involved in aviation, because it takes a lot of sacrifice and it takes a lot of work. And then it's kind of never ending,
But it is a fantastic industry to be in. You make it sound like a jail sentence. It's not that at all.
It's a wonderful industry to be in. Just be sure that you want to be in it. That's all I'm saying.
That is it, yes.
And if it is your passion, I'm sure you would love to do it.
Yeah. My passion is I wanted to be a pilot since I was 10 years old. I can remember it quite clearly. I was going down to Naasna to visit my grandparents. And I climbed on board this Boeing 737. It was still an old Boeing, one of those with I think it was the basics. And it made one huge noise, and I sat there at the back, and straight away I knew this is what I want to be. I want to be a pilot. And yeah, as I said, it took a lot of dedication to get there, because people just think, pilot, we become a pilot. It's as easy as that. It takes quite a lot of work,
Yeah. And then the reason why we invited Megan today is she did her first introductory flight last week on her 15th birthday.
Yes, the 17th of November, like the best birthday ever.
Yeah, so did you enjoy the flight?
Oh, it was amazing. I didn't expect it. So, if I knew beforehand I would go on the flight, I would then expect, and I tried to imagine what it was like, but I didn't.
We kept it as a surprise.
Yes, it was a surprise. So I didn't expect anything, and then when we came there, and then you did your circuit, Dad, and then the next.
Yeah, but let's start right at the beginning. We said to you, where are we going? Where did we say we're going?
We're going for breakfast and then to bounce.
And we went for breakfast. And it was getting hotter and hotter, and I didn't want it to go too late because it's damn uncomfortable, especially
because then you do bounce between the air pockets. Yes,
in a 172, it's not ideal to be flying around the sky at 12 o'clock, and that's kind of how it turned out at the end. But it was lovely. I mean, it was really lekker. So we said we're going for breakfast, and then we said we're going to bounce.
Yes, and then I thought we were going to the bouncing. I think it's Santon, but then. The next moment I see on one of the boards, the tollgate boards, that Rand Airport is closed here. And they said, keep on guessing. And I couldn't guess. And then I was like, the only thing I know at Rand is one of my dad's friends that has his own business and an aeroplane. And my dad's friend's name is Henny. So then my dad said, guess where we were going? And then I said, Rand, Henny. And my dad was like, yes. So at the last minute I guessed it correctly, and that wasn't enough times to build my expectations. And the moment you let me fly, Dad, it was amazing. It's a very, very cool feeling. It's so undescribable. You feel like a bird, so free in the sky. But then it's a lot more stressful, but you also know that you can't just be like a bird in the sky.
And there's no place to get off. If you get it wrong,
yes,
you're going to get quite hurt.
And there's your life and the people then on the plane's lives that is in danger if you do something wrong. And I can remember as soon as you told me, okay, now it's your turn to fly, as I took the controls, yes, we hit an air pocket. We went into an air pocket and the whole plane just went down.
It just fell, yeah.
It like fell out of the sky, but not that far, just, I don't know.
Did you scream? I can't remember.
No, I was just like, and I can remember you laughing at me, but I didn't think it was funny. I was so stressed out, and then as soon as I get the control, we hit an
Yeah, well, that would come.
Major air pocket, the worst one of the whole flight. Yes.
Yeah, well, that would fit.
So yes.
But that takes me back to when I learned to fly. I mean, and it's a long time ago. When I was 15, I also did my first flight. I ended up in a glider, and my dad paid for me to go in a glider for an introductory flight. And then I loved it so much, he said, okay, you must go up in Cessna 150. And the guy's name was old Tolly Pretorius, which was a wonderful instructor. And he said to Tolly, listen, you must give this guy a workout. And he did a spin, 3 rotation spin, and he was hoping, I think, that I would be put off flying forever. And I came out there and it was like, yo, this is cool, I want to carry on flying. So yeah, I was also kind of hoping that maybe you wouldn't like it as much as you did.
Yeah. But Meg, you wanted to do flying for a little while already. But do you want to do it as a career or just as fun?
I would like to do it privately because I often saw in Dad that when he did it as like for one time, then he'd do night stops and things. That wasn't that bad because at least I still had you, but I always want to be there for my family one day. I don't want to do it as a career because then you have to go do night stops and etc. Where if I do it for fun, it would be fun.
That's the reason for this show, is just to discuss it and how much, even though you got the passion, the difficulties that you're going to come across in your aviation career, be it a pilot, be it air hostess, be it an engineer, it doesn't really matter. You're going to come up with those same challenges. It seems glamorous. You look at these air hostesses and you think, oh wow, cool. They're going to exotic locations, which they do. That's part of the job. But also after a while, it gets a little bit kind of tough.
And what I find is you don't have anybody to share it with.
Once you've been to New York once by yourself, what then?
And I think that's why I chose not to follow the pilot side as a career. After doing my PPL, I just couldn't see myself away from my family.
But yet you're still passionately involved in aviation.
Aviation, yes.
And your business is very successful because of aviation.
Yes.
So that's wonderful. But going back to that first flight of mine, my first solo was absolutely stunning. I remember it was 29th of August. The wind was blowing like you've never seen before. And I thought, there's no way they're going to send me solo. We're going to have to cancel it make it on another day. And I was quite disappointed. And we went to the airport, and old Tolly said, let's go up and have a look. And we did a circuit. And the next thing, the guy got out and closed the door and said, bye, we'll see you later. And what he didn't tell you was this aeroplane is going to be so much lighter because it's like lost half of its weight. And this was climbing like you can't believe, like a homesick angel. And we did a circuit, and I still remember it so clearly. I looked to my right, and there was nobody sitting in, and I thought, you better get this one right.
I can remember that clearly as well. Now I have to, you take all that responsibility, and I think that's the wonderful thing about a pilot's license is you have to have the responsibility of being responsible with your time and with your dedication, and it's very responsible.
So luckily I learned all the stories you guys tell me. I learn from your mistakes, and at least I know this time I'll be more careful and more responsible.
Yeah, well, it's better to learn from other people's mistakes than make the same mistakes, but you will make your own mistakes. Let's just hope that those mistakes are not fatal, because in an aircraft it can easily be a fatal mistake. You fly into a mountain, there's no getting away from it. There's not very many people that survive that. And if you ditch into water or those type of things, fire, there's lots of really bad hazards. But it's just a question of training and avoiding that.
Yes. And we'll speak about the training PPL and what the requirements are and all that stuff to become a pilot. Your steps.
After the break. We'll be back.
DeBella Training and Management provides South African civil aviation approved training to aircraft maintenance engineers. From engine to airframe, DeBella offers international quality courses on a wide range of aircraft. Many of our clients are from Africa and the Far East, enjoying DeBella's tranquil on-site accommodation minutes away from the airport, and also provide courses in your country depending on your training needs. DeBella's pioneering range of practical hands-on training videos augment the DeBella theoretical modules, modernizing the aviation training industry. Visit www.debella.co.za now. DeBella, you name it, we train it.
Oh, welcome back. And I had a most fascinating conversation with the guy that did that circuit that we were talking about. Because, I haven't flown a 172. I come off bigger aircraft, and I haven't flown a 172 for quite a while. And, I had to go and do my 3 circuits to get current. And I phoned up old Rakesh at Phoebus Apollo, and I said, hey, can you help me with my circuits? And we climbed into this 172, and I think his eyes were bigger than mine because it's so damn sensitive compared to what I was used to. But, flying's flying, and once we'd done a couple of circuits, we were all sorted out. And then, he got out, and we loaded the rest of the family in, and off we went. So, I gave him a ring last night, and we recorded the conversation. So I'll just introduce you to Rakesh, and you can hear what he has to say about the passion in aviation and how he got to where he is today.
And the requirements.
Cool.
Okay, guys, and we got Rakesh on the line. I was telling you about him a little bit earlier in the show, and his background, basically, he's a flying instructor. He's got 1,400 hours, and he's got a little bit of time on the DC-9, which I'm very passionate about as well. So, Rakesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Des. Thank you.
So tell us quickly, why flying? Why are you so passionate about flying?
Since I've been a kid, I wanted to fly like everybody says. The main reason of me being a pilot was nobody in my family had access to aeroplanes. For an aeroplane was like a dream. Like in the whole family, none of us flew, while the rest of the people flew, and I was the only person who wasn't flying. So
and how did you get access to it?
The main reason I got access to it was my dad. My dad, luckily, I asked him, I want to do this flying thing. So he was like, why would you want to fly? So I said, I'm quite interested in flying. And that's what I've been always wanting to do, not an office job where I sit from 9 to 6 and just work in an office in front of the desk. So
and when you told him that you want to become a pilot, what did he say?
He said no. He said, you're not being a pilot, you're sitting in front of computers and working as a software engineer.
And what was your response to that?
I said, I will satisfy whatever you want me to be, but in the end I want to be pilot. So we made a deal, and that's where I am now.
And how did you actually get there? Was it an easy road, or did you battle a bit?
It was quite a difficult road because of the financial requirements for flying is quite high, so it was quite a difficult road I had to walk through.
Okay, and you're originally from India?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then why did you choose South Africa to fly?
South Africa to fly because of the weather, and the financial constraints here is much better than any other country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And may I ask how long have you been flying in South Africa?
I've been flying for 8 years now in South Africa. This is my eighth year.
Wow, cool. Okay. And your biggest aircraft, as I said, is a DC-9.
That's
but
correct.
Your biggest kind of light twin, what aircraft is that?
Light twin was a Piper Seneca, the 6 seaters.
Wow, and to go from a Seneca to a DC-9 is quite a huge step. I did it from a 402 to a DC-9, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, that's correct. It was fun. Initially, I was lost in the aeroplane. I didn't know where half the stuff was, but it took me a while to get onto the right terms of the DC-9.
And did you find the size of the DC-9, did you find that intimidating?
Yes, that was intimidating initially. It was quite a huge learning curve, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think, because I've flown that aircraft as well. For me, when I went on to it from a 402 to a DC-9 was a huge step, and I battled quite a bit in the simulator. But the actual size of the airplane I found very intimidating. And once you get used to that, and it's just an airplane that flies like any other airplane flies,
That's
once
correct.
you get used to that, then it's not actually that bad.
Yes.
So what ambitions have you got in aviation? Where do you see yourself in a few years' time?
I want to see myself in a few years' time working for Emirates Airlines, flying the 777.
And only Emirates.
Yes.
Why do you choose Emirates?
I want to live in the Gulf and simultaneously work from Dubai, so that Dubai is like the heart of the world. So from there I can cater through the entire world. I can start from one, and then Emirates basically flies most of the destinations. So I would go into
Okay.
that.
So do you want to see the world, or what attracts you to Emirates specifically? 777 or 380s?
It's the 777 which attracts me. That is the main one.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, for me now, I like 747s.
Yeah.
That's just, I think it's an unbeatable aircraft. But I mean, the
That's correct.
777 is also quite close. Eh?
Yes.
Rakesh, you were involved with Megan's flight the other day, and I had to go and do a couple of circuits with you to get current.
Yes.
But tell us quickly, what are the requirements, the latest requirements to do your student pilot license?
If you have to be a student pilot license, you have to be 16 years old with matric.
And that's it.
That's it.
And a bank full of money.
That's correct. That's the first thing you need before you even think of the age.
Or you need a rich girlfriend or a rich daddy.
Yeah, that would help.
And then PPL, you can still get that at 17.
PPL, you can do it at 17 years.
Okay. Yeah, I did mine on my 17th birthday. I went solo, and then shortly after that I got my PPL. And then I was stuck because I could fly anywhere in the country, but I couldn't drive because you can't hire a car. So it's a little bit of a catch-22.
Yes.
But me coming back down from bigger aircraft, 773, 72s, MD-80, DC-9, back down onto the 172 the other day, I think as an instructor you must have had quite big eyes because I was flaring a bit high and coming in a bit fast. And how did you experience it?
That was quite interesting to see you fly because you're the only person I've flown with who flies a big jet and comes to fly for a 172. So you're the first person I've ever flown with. So it was quite interesting. In the end, the way you fixed everything was quite interesting. When the aeroplane on short finals wanted to give you that bank to the left, the way you fixed it was quite nice. It's at the end of the day, it's another aeroplane.
Yeah, it's just another airplane, but it is very sensitive. I mean, when you get used to the bigger stuff, and you can kind of put in quite a bit of input before it goes anywhere. But on the 172, it just goes. It's very. I find it really sensitive, and it's very slow. I mean, 60, 65 knots. That's not very comfortable for me.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, it's all about the passion, because I find with a bigger aircraft that you start pushing buttons and you lose the general aviation passion about it. And that's why I think, to be passionate about what you do, I found personally that I wouldn't never have got this far without being passionate. And I'm sure I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, the passion thing is the only thing which will drive you in aviation. If you don't have passion, you will quit at one stage. Because when I started my flying, I came with 26 students who were in one classroom. And out of that, there's only 3 who have graduated.
That have actually made it.
Yes, yes.
And it's quite sad because a lot of them quit just before they kind of make it. And if they just carried on longer, they would have actually got there.
Yes, it's the studying and simultaneously the amount of hard work and the financial support which you need. It's all at the same time. So nobody actually gives it that extra effort which this career needs especially.
So before we go, what advice would you give to young pilots out there that they ambitious and they're passionate about this? What advice would you give them?
Don't lose hope. It is going to happen. You need to just carry on working towards the goal. Like Des always told me, work towards the ATP. This is exactly what I'm doing now.
Well, 1,400 hours, you're almost there. 1,500 hours you can get.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Rakesh, it was fantastic having you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Des.
I look forward to flying with you again.
Oh, we will love that.
So anybody that's interested, contact Rakesh at Phoebus Apollo and he will sort you out.
Thank you very much, Des.
Thanks, man. Go well, eh?
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So give Rakesh at Phoebus Apollo a shot. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of patience, eh? And he's so polite as well. I think, as I said in the beginning, his eyes must have been bigger than what mine were. And he doesn't say a word. He just sits. I think that's the good instructor. Just sits there, lets you make the mistakes, and just prevents you,
give you a chance to recover it yourself,
and
yes.
prevents you from crashing. So, Belinda, just tell us quickly, what would you say, in your opinion, things to consider, either from a wife's perspective or from a business perspective, before you get involved in aviation? What would you consider?
Just remember, aviation is really, really expensive. They always say if you have anything to do with aviation, you put a zero at the back and a $ in the front. And that is really true. Everything in aviation is so expensive, but it was tested and tried and analyzed and all sorts of stuff. And that is why it's so expensive, because of the human hours that went into the testing and verification and the high standards that it is. So it is extremely expensive. But if you want to do flying, or if you want to get involved in the aviation industry, keep going. It will work.
And it pays quite well, once you get up higher up. From the pilot's point of view, if you now make it into a big airline and you're a captain there, then you do get paid pretty handsomely. It depends on how you organize your lifestyle that really counts. But there's always this classic story of the 747 pilot cruising along at level 330, and along comes a fighter jet, and he's sitting like at 410. And he looks down at the 747 captain and he says to him, "Hey, what's keeping you down there?" And the guy replies, "My wallet." And because airline captain's going to get paid a lot more than what a fighter pilot would get. But a fighter pilot could be probably a bit more glamorous, and you can go a bit further and a bit faster. But it comes back to stability and quality of life, eh? And as we said in one of the other shows, I've never missed a birthday, Christmas, anniversary in all my years of flying.
You might have flown on the day, but you were there for part of it at least.
Yeah, I wasn't totally missing in action.
I can remember, I think it was on my 13th birthday, or I can't remember even what birthday it was, that when one time closed down, that you had to take one of those last airplanes down to
Uppington, yeah.
Yes. So I can remember, but I really wanted you to do that flight, and I
never missed it. I was still there.
Yes.
So I was there in the morning. We flew to Uppington. We came back again.
Yeah. So you were always there.
But it's
choices that we make.
Time for a quick story, eh?
Real aviation stories with Debella.
Submit your real-life story to www.debella.co.za.
And you could be featured on the Aviation Show live on brandlive.co.za or in our upcoming book.
So the story slot is mine today. So I just wanted to make it a bit of a lesson as well, as we're speaking about student pilots and Rakesh training student pilots. So when I was a student pilot, you would go with the instructor and do certain work in the GF, or the general flying area, and then come back, and then next time you would go by yourself without the instructor and stuff like that. So I was going to the general flying area, or I was supposed to go to the general flying area to go practice on stalls and stuff, and I was very eager to fly, but the weather didn't look good.
But it's only weather. Who knows?
It's only weather, yeah. Anyway, so I phoned the tower and they said, no, the weather is fine. And then as soon as I took off, I wasn't even properly in the air past all the hangars and stuff, and I was in cloud. And as a student pilot, that's one thing you don't want to be, is in cloud, because you have no idea actually what you're doing.
You can hardly fly the airplane, never mind in instrument conditions.
So I said to the tower, I want to come back and land. And I can remember coming back and every now and again through the cloud seeing the airfield and then the tower and stuff, and then having to complete the circuit and then coming into land on short finals. I was back with full visual of the runway and stuff, but it was so scary. And when I stopped the aircraft, I can remember my legs shaking more than when I went solo the first time, because of the stresses that was there. So the lesson was for me, trust your gut instinct. If you feel that it is not safe to do it, don't do it.
Even though the TAR said it's fine,
Yes.
your gut instinct said no.
It's not fine, and it wasn't fine. So, big thing, trust your gut instinct, and then also get the opinion of other people that are more experienced than you. So, and then that would count for the parents as well. If your child is doing a PPL or working towards their PPL, make sure you support them in their decisions. To keep them safe,
And
because the students just want to fly and they want to get it over and done with, but sometimes it's not the right call. So make sure you support them.
But that should improve with experience.
It does.
We've run out of time. Megan, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here.
And hopefully we'll see you as our co-pilots. Until next week, same time, 3 o'clock, the Aviation Show. This is Des Werner, signing off.
Goodbye from Belinda.
And bye from Megan.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Aviation Show on brandlive.co.za, proudly brought to you by DeBella Training.
Visit www.debella.co.za now.